Hi everyone, and welcome to the webinar of QR Module on Zoho. Okay, let's go to the agenda. I would like to start with some general information about the QR bill, so you know what it's like and what the advantages of the QR bill are and the most important facts about it. And then we will switch to Charlie, who will show you the setting up of the QR module plugin in Zoho and how to create QR bills from Zoho Books. So the presentation is written in German, but I will translate it simultaneously in English. So general information about the QR bill. The old in-payment slips, they have been removed in Switzerland and replaced by the QR bill. So the ancient in-payment slips, we had two variants of them. The first one was, or gave the possibility to add a message text, an unstructured message text, and the second one worked with a reference number. So we had two different types of them for each variant. The new QR bill can do both in one slip, so that's something which is new. The QR bill has been implemented by the SIX Group, who is a general infrastructure manager for the financial place in Switzerland, and a lot of banks worked together for that process. The QR bill can be proceeded at the counter as the people used to in ancient times, and there are a lot of people who still use the postal branch. And but the new QR bill can also handle the digital process properly. Yeah, it is possible to fully proceed the QR bill digitally. If you can send it by email as a PDF file, and lots of banks are able to read the PDF or the Swiss QR code, which is within the PDF, and yeah, and therefore the digital can be handled fully digitally. So the QR bill can serve to both worlds. Yeah, so the billers, they had to do some things. They had to adjust their processes. I think that's not very important for you now, so I will go through it very fast, but you can interrupt me if you have questions. Yeah, as I mentioned, the old in-payment slips, they had the reference number or the unstructured message type, but not both in one type of slip, and now the QR bill combines the two functions. Let me tell you some important words that you need to know concerning the QR bill. We are talking about the slip here. It's called the QR payment part. So the blue lined part here, it contains the receipt, which can be used if someone pays at the postal branch, but it is useless if someone pays digital or at the online or mobile bank. Then, of course, the core of the QR payment part is the Swiss QR code, which contains all the necessary data. So it can get scanned at the postal branch or with the mobile phone or at the online banking system. So the user doesn't need to type in all the information manually. Then we also have the text here. This text must be congruent to the information within the Swiss QR code. It gives the payer the possibility to transfer a payment even if the Swiss QR code cannot be read. Then an important thing is the QR IBAN. So the QR IBAN has been invented for the case that a user uses a QR reference number. So we have three types of reference numbers. We have the type none, which means no reference number is used at all. And we have the type score, which is used in the European Union mainly, but not in Switzerland yet. If you use one of those two types, you need to combine it with the regular IBAN you already know from your bank. But if you use the QR reference, then you need to combine it with the QR IBAN. So the QR IBAN, you will get it from the bank if you need it. So this is the QR reference number. It's a number with 27 digits and a check digit. So this needs to be a correct reference. And QR Module is, of course, able to create QR reference numbers if you need them. Then there are a few other functionalities that has been invented with the QR bill as the billing information. So that allows the biller to transfer structured information to the payer. It is not widely used yet. It's only for really big companies who have a high level of automation within their paying processes. So it can be that they request that you use the billing information, but I have not seen it yet. And then there are some alternative procedures as well. So that means you can transfer a QR bill to an e-bill payment, for example, or to a Twint payment. But that is not used widely also. And well, this function doesn't make much sense. So therefore, QR Module did not realize that function because our target group doesn't use that procedure. Yeah, so these are the most important information about the QR bill. So I will go on now, or if you have any questions to the QR bill, then just tell me. So we're here on the agenda point number 3, sorry, opening a profile. I think it's not necessary to show you how to sign on. That's very easy. You just enter your information. So that's why I use a profile that is already registered. And if you want to use Zoho Books, you need to generate the credentials first, meaning you need to have an API key. And I can generate it right now. Let me switch to English. So if you have here the navigation line, you can click on My Profile and on Settings, and you'll find here, down here, the button API Users. Click on it, create a new API user, and then you get your credentials, the client ID, the client secret, and these two code lines you will need to connect a QR module with Zoho Books. And how Zoho Books works, that will show you Charlie now. So,
thank you, Benny. I switch on the microphone. Welcome from my side. I'm try to be as quick and detailed in the same time as possible. We already generated the API key in QR Module, and you already set up the QR Module profile, which is the basic for the application. Benny showed it to you. It's also important that you add all the information about your account in QR Module, because this is then taken into Zoho Books, into the application. To start the application, you need to install it on the from the marketplace. I passed the URL down here. It's marketplace zoho.eu, and then search for Swiss QR bills. and then you will find it pretty easily. And when it comes to installation, and this I have to show you from this print screen. Later on we go into the application directly, but here you see the client ID and the secret key. It's the only way to hide it easily with the print screen. That's why we have it here. Those are those information Benny showed a second ago. Those are the information you need to copy in here: client ID, client secret ID, and then you can do a few little setups. For example, the priority for a letter dispatch. If you want to send your invoices not via email, you can choose it to send it by post, snail mail, and for this we in Switzerland have A post and B post, so you need to say which priority does it have, and as well which color. Do you want to print it colorly or just black and white? And then also the stamping, the A post or B post you need to select. There's also an option here on the right side about the collective address. You have the possibility to add or to send your, this here, to send all the invoices to one central address. For example, if you want to add some additional material, or if you want to do some packaging around or whatever, you can send it to a letter shop or to yourself or to whom it may concern, and then they can package. So then you need to add the collective address as well, and here you can add some notes or remarks for the print shop if you want to tell them that they shall attach anything or do some special wrapping. On Christmas time, the golden envelope or whatever, you can mark it down here and note it. Then you can set up the language, country, pretty easy. Down here you have the template name. If you don't fill out, it takes a standard template. In QR module, you have the option to use various templates from the design of the invoices. Depending on the design you want to choose for your invoices and via Zoho Books, you need to choose here the right template. Take the name of the template, add it here. So this is part of the initial setup. If you
sorry, Charlie, may I add something? If you use a template that you registered in on QR module, you can manage several templates there, so more than one. So that means you can also enter here another one. And I have a second question, Charlie, to you. You explained here the letter dispatch service, but we also have the email service, right?
Yes, indeed. It's the letter dispatch service. It's an option. You have to do some setups here, but most of the time, or most of the clients send it out by email. This is a standard, and we see it later when you go into the details and into the live creating a QR invoice. Just about the theory, emails are good, emails are fast, emails are easy. Customers tend to overlook emails sometimes, especially when there are email invoices, which is quite a shame, because the PDF you can easily copy paste to your e-banking, and it's prepared. Nevertheless, you have the option to choose what's best for your clients. Use letter dispatch or use emails. We go into Zoho Books. Here we are at Zoho Books, and we start to create an invoice in the sales. So I have to make all the pictures a little bit smaller. QR module demo. Here we go. This is all the standard process. Invoice number, order number, invoice date, as always. And here comes the speciality. You have the status, which is a field that is not needed or not need to be filled out. When there is a problem with creating the QR code or the QR payment part, later on we display the information in here for each invoice. So this QR status doesn't have to be filled out, and is needed for us to write some information into it if there are problems, but most of the time you don't need it. The QR reference, this is the number generated for the QR payment part. Benny already explained it before, the number you have on your QR payment part. Then we have the option, and here starts the point where you can add some information. There is an option to add some text for the emails which are sent out to the customers with the invoice. Here you can add your text, and there's also an option to add some text on the QR bill as well. This is the QR message. And as mentioned before, extensively, you have the option to send it via QR letter dispatch. As long this checkbox is not marked, it will be always sent by email. So most of the time you don't use this, but if you want to send it, you can check mark this, and then it will be sent through the letter shop. And if you want to send it by letter shop, you have the option to say true for the collective address. This is the address I just explained, where you can send it to your to yourself or to your copy letter shop or whatever. True, then it takes the address which is stored, or just leave it empty. Most of the time you leave everything empty here, and then start to do your product, demo, product, one quantity, 10 Swiss francs, VAT on top, round up a little bit, always fun. And this is the information you already have stored, doesn't have to do with the QR module. It's the information you have as a customer node stored in your settings. And then you have here the customer you want to email it to. And normally you push it by save and send. For QR model, it's a little bit different. We don't have the option to send it right away because Zoho doesn't allow us. So you have to save it as a draft. is very important. Save it as a draft. Now you have it as a draft. You see it, and up here, you have the button Send QR. If we send it here from Send QR, it asks you, do you want to proceed? Of course. That's why we are here for. It takes a second. It does generate the QR payment part, as you can see it here. It's the invoice, and it's the QR payment part at the bottom. It has all the elements we discussed earlier, the details from the company. All those information are added in the QR module, and those are the information from Zoho. When we switch to the email account of the customer, here we go. You have the email account of our dummy customer, and here we have the invoice with the QR payment part. That's it from the creating a QR invoice in Zoho Books. Pretty easy and simple. It's what is important to say, there is somewhere in the settings a function called QR code. This has nothing to do with the Swiss QR code used, and it's an application from Zoho itself. They generate a QR code for the invoices, but when you use this, you only see the invoice. So it's not the one you can use for e-banking or pay with your app or whatever. It just opens the QR invoice. And this is, not what we want, not what it's needed.
So thank you very much, Charlie. As you see, it's quite easy to generate a QR bill with Zoho Books. And we did a market analysis last year to check if the banks can handle the QR bill properly. And about 40% of the banks are able to upload a PDF file or to use the drag and drop function. So you can take the PDF file from the email right into the your online banking app. And so you can proceed to payment as a payer very efficiently. We have a question in the chat. So Charlie, that's a very important question. Can we offer the plugin for Zoho CRM as well?
Yes, indeed. There is another plugin, because CRM and Zoho Books is not the same, even if they work together and if they are integrated. But for Zoho CRM, there is a second one. It's this one, Swiss QR invoice for Zoho CRM. You can install it for your CRM and you use it as well. It has the same settings which you need. It generates the QR invoices, attaches to the invoices, and it has also the same fields as we just discussed, just in a little different order. You also have the option for send it via letter dispatch. And it does, of course, the most important, generate a QR payment part.
So we have another question in the chat. The invoice number is not included in the Swiss QR code because it's not an important information to proceed a payment.
Yeah, I know where this question comes from about the invoice number. There are two different things. One is sending out the invoices, which you just saw is pretty easy and fast. The other point is the client does pay the bills, hopefully, and hopefully also you get a lot of payments from different clients, and then you want to match them quite fast or quite easy.
Okay, so you want to identify the payer if the QR bill does not contain a reference number. So you can enter the invoice number to the unstructured message field if you want. So you have that information too.
But you don't need it you don't need it because Zoho currently has no direct banking integration. They are still working on it. But you can upload the COMT messages from your bank. That's why I opened this here in Zoho Books. This has nothing to do with a QR module, but I'm happy to show it quickly. You can upload here your COMT messages, and then it does automatically match based on the name and amount of the invoices, and it marks the invoice paid if you activate this. Unfortunately, banks don't send it directly to this email address. You have to forward your COMT messages to this email or upload it, and then it does automatically the matching. I hope this helps you as well.
Yeah, in summary, there are several ways to identify the payer. As Charlie mentioned, you can do it by the name or the amount, or you can do it by using a reference number, the QR reference number, or the score reference number. If you use the QR reference number, you saw Charlie showed it on the form, the field QR reference. If you use that field, you must have a correct QR reference number. You cannot enter any random number in there. You need to have a 27-digit number with the correct check ticket, which you can generate on QR Modul if you like to, because otherwise it would cause a failure. A wrong QR reference number could not get proceeded by the banks or the postal branch. So therefore, we don't allow to generate a QR bill with a wrong reference number. And yeah, the other possibility, as I mentioned, you can enter the invoice number to the unstructured message field as well if you need it. So then you would have double security to identify the payer. Yeah, we have another remark on the chat. Unfortunately, not all banks return the QR reference. Yes, from my work at the SIX group, I know that the banks must return the QR reference number. If they don't do it, then you maybe get the wrong message type, or you should tell the bank, because this is not allowed. The bank absolutely must give you back the reference number. That's the meaning of the reference number. And well, then we reached the end of this webinar, and hope you have fun with our plugin. Thank you very much, and bye to everyone.
QR-Modul. Einfach, schnell und günstig.